Hello there! Once again, this is Anton from Anton Bay. Today I'm going to be just going through my pile of Marvel Toy Biz action figures. These are the vintage ones back from the 90s. Mostly X-Men. This is stuff that everybody loved. This is what all of us who are massive toy collectors, it seems like, action figure guys, this is what we started with. And so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to try and name all of them if I can. If I hit one I don't know, I'll ask you to tell me. I'm just going to pull off the front of the pile here. One of the later releases and one of my favorites, Polaris. I always thought the costume was pretty good. She is a repaint of the ultra hideous Rogue. This was one I looked for forever. Was so disappointed when I finally got it because I was like, damn, it's so ugly. But they did a better job on the Polaris. And yeah, they're basically sisters in paint. So anyway, got those two. I recently got a bunch more of these and I acquired a few more. I finally picked up a Professor Xavier. I never had a Professor Xavier with arm pounding action on his table there. He has like a door on each side that has the same stuff in it, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, I never had this figure. I always wanted it. I just picked it up recently at a garage sale. I'm very happy to have it. I think he looks great. We got, he's up here on the top of the pile. More from the animated series, Adventures of the X-Men comic book, and the X-Men animated series. Died early on. Turns out he didn't die, and he became a villain for a while. Anyway, him. We've got, this is not, I think this is version 3 Apocalypse with the big sneer and extra parts and stuff. Just a repaint of Apocalypse Wave 2. We've got Cameron Hodge with, I think he used to have like a squirt gun thing. That's a feature you always want, is a squirt gun in your action figure. This Havoc, probably one of the best Havocs they ever made. This is basically the design they used when they got the new Marvel Legends one, which I thought was excellent figure. The purple arm sneaking out over here is a Dragon Man whose face just fell off. And I know he's missing his wings, but this is one I picked up out of a bargain bin at some toy shop somewhere because I was like, you know what? I don't have a Dragon Man. I really should have one. He's just a simple, 5 POA guy. And yeah, I thought I should have one. This is probably one of the best Quicksilvers they ever made. I haven't seen much for Legends ones. This one's pretty rough. He's got pretty much some stainage and some grime on him. I think some kid set fireworks off on him at some point, but pretty cool. Psylocke. This is, I think, the second version Psylocke. She's got like a power thing in her arm. Yeah, it's like if you put this knife thing in her hand and then push the button on the back, it like lights up. I was never a big fan of action features, so I mean, some of these have action features. I was just not crazy about them. Aoa Jean Grae, beautifully rendered figure, gigantic freakish man hands. Hulkbuster Iron Man. This is one I pilfered off an old friend, and he has like a bunch of pieces that clip onto him, but I don't have those anymore. I have them in a bag somewhere, but didn't find him for this video. But if you want just like a beefy, cool vintage Hulkbuster, this guy was awesome. Got, I can't remember who this is. If you know who this is, let me know. I want to say it's not Celine. Gosh, I can't remember. Madeline Pryor. Shoot, I can't remember. But definitely a body mold that you will see reused several times from Toy Biz. So excellent paint job on that one too. This is Tusk. Just a basic 4 POA. He's very unmovable, but he does have one of the coolest action features of any of these figures. He actually poops a smaller guy out of the top of him, like a little clone of himself. And that is ridiculously cool. How cool is, I've never read about him in the comics. Saw him in a video game once. He's an awesome figure though. Richter from X-Force. Pretty cool figure. No neck articulation because he has what I've maybe mentioned before, the stupidest action feature of all. You wind him up, and he vibrates. Awesome, right? Awesome. Which is better than these features, which is Reed Richards with rubbery arms. I just thought that was a weird feature. Captain America. This is one of my favorite old Captain Americas. This is from the Marvel vs. Capcom line. His shield broke and I just glued it on, but I mean, pretty damn good Captain America for back in the day. This is Storm from Mutant X, where she's actually a vampire, and this figure is actually great. This is really well done. It's got pretty decent articulation for being an older figure, and yeah, it's cool. This is a second series Jean Grey. The first ones were the rare ones. They have like no undershirt, and this one does. And they decided that that was just too sexy, too sexy, and so they abolished that one. She's rare now. And of course, James Marsters as Scott Summers. Of course, most of you will recognize him from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. That's the movie that made him the cultural icon that he is today. And he's almost as movable in this action figure as he was in this leather suit for the film, but not much. Got a vintage Colossus with a stupid lifting action. This is like this. That's the worst action to give somebody, because like that's all they can do now is just lift something. It makes the figure pretty one-dimensional. From the top of the pile, we have Generation X Jubilee in what's probably one of the worst renderings of Jubilee I could ever imagine. Looks like she's riding a horse. She can't do anything. She looks like this weird vacant stare. They've done so much better with so many other figures. I don't know why Jubilee had such a terrible time getting a decent figure release. We've got... This is a really good Doctor Strange. He's got ankle articulation and everything. He poses well. It's actually a damn good Doctor Strange, and was for a long time. Came with like a whole pedestal with a mind eyeball thing in it. Here's easy one of the best Iceman Iceman's Toy Biz ever made. Like, ever. He's pretty damn cool. This is AOA Iceman. Vintage Cannonball with legs, back when they made Cannonball figures with legs. Magic, Illyana Rasputin. This is a great figure. Her face is a little bit hideous, but I've always loved this figure. I thought it was a great for the time, great rendition of it. Grizzly. I don't know why this guy isn't a Marvel Legends yet. He would be flippin' sweet. My first exposure to him was in the AOA, where he was a bad guy, and I thought he was awesome. Aurora from Alpha Flight. Terribly stupid articulation. No knees, but ankle pivots. How dumb. Black Cat. They use this body mold on a couple of other figures, believe it or not. Tigress is one of them, I think. Not very poseable at all, and very awkward and hard to balance because of the huge hair. This guy is damn near to Marvel Legends, and now I believe he is. They've made one. It's AOA, it's X-Men, it's Nate Grae, but this thing has the articulation that was fantastic for back in the day. Towards the end of the Marvel Legends, or Toy Biz type toy line, right before they started making Marvel Legends, this guy was what they were leaning towards, and it's pretty amazing. So, still a figure that still holds up. Here's AOA Rogue. This is a terrible body mold that they use several times. I absolutely hate it, because every female they make with this body mold, the hair wants to come off, and it looks like a horror show. It's absolutely terrible. Very similar buck design to this figure, whose hair also just freaking fell off. I can dig it out of here. But yeah, this was an issue with this style. It wasn't good. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Another example of damn near to Marvel Legends is this Colossus. I think this is Robot Fighters Colossus. And he is fantastic. I mean, you can see the articulation and the posability you got out of this guy for Toy Biz. I mean, that's pretty cool. Oh, her hair is caught. I want to say her name is Chainsaw or Claw. It's something really obvious. But definitely one of the weirder figures I could ever find from this line. And definitely one that I had to hunt down. It's like the witch from Wizard of Oz with a chainsaw for a hand and metal hooves. It's the freakiest figure. Definitely one that I had to track down because it's so weird. We got Thing over here. This is not the best thing. There's some better things out there back in the day. This is just, I don't know. This is just one of them. Right here in front, we've got Metalhead, I think his name, from X-Men 2099. Very beefy, very cool looking guy. Very, very immovable. This is one of the Juggernauts. This one has the non-removable helmet and the large plastic arm so that his punching action will work. His other arm is solid. So he's pretty cool, but his arms are so long that they're past his knees, and that's weird. That's weird. We've got Penance from Gen X. Basic 5 POA, but done decently. I wish that they would revisit this figure. This is another figure that needs a new Legends version of it. They could probably revisit a lot of Gen X because they haven't. Psycho Man, very few points of articulation, but just an amazing aesthetic on this thing. Absolutely gorgeous figure for its age and its time. Weird, angry, spacesuit looking dude. It's cool. Very cool. Cyclops, this is, I think, one of the Capcom versus Marvel Cyclopses. Capcom versus the X-Men Cyclops, something like that. He's just posed weird and it's a little bit awkward, but he's decent. What's this? Another Psylocke. I think I picked up an extra Psylocke at a garage sale, and that's okay, because I do love this figure. This is one of the classic Psylocke figures. A later version Wolverine, getting much closer to Marvel Legends in their ability to pose and stuff. So this ugly face aside, this one's pretty awesome. Deathbird, this is an odd one that I would like them to make a Marvel Legends release of. I think this is from Ninja Armor, and her back thing that holds her wings is broken, and that's kind of sad. A greatly sculpted Jean Grae with great paint job and everything that it absolutely can never stand. This figure is impossible to stand. And I believe this was Robot. I want to say it was Robot Fighters 2, but I'm not positive. Aoa Morph. Bet you didn't know they made one. And he shares the same body as Aoa Magneto, who I think I just saw his helmet over here. There you go. So yeah, exact same body mold. They just repainted him and they used a cloth cape, kind of cloth, instead of the plastic cape. I kind of prefer the plastic cape in this situation, definitely. But I thought it was weird that they used the same body mold on the same two, because I don't remember them having the same outfit at all, really. Shatter Star, who seems to be much cooler nowadays than he was when he originally came out. But isn't that the same with everybody in X-Force comics? I got Banshee here, and this is a later Banshee, but this is one of the worst Banshees. He sucks. Later edition, this is a Nightcrawler, and this is actually still a damn good figure. Still holds up well for what it is. Still poseable, and it's still, I mean, he does have an action feature which kind of makes him suck. He's got a button on the back and it makes the sword glow, and like, who wanted action features? I have no idea who was asking for action features. We've got Aoa Wolverine missing a hand, ugly as sin. Snowbird from Alpha Flight. Ninja Fighters Wolverine. This is actually a great Wolverine figure. If you want to take off his goofy ninja outfit, he looks fairly normal. He's just wearing black pants. But this is probably the best action figure they made when he had bone claws, because he still has a nose. They took his nose off. I don't know why. North Star, just like his sister, he has no knee joints but ankle joints, making him really awkward and stupid, except that he's actually twisted sideways, so he's not straight. But I don't know why. You got Laluna Tikka. This is another X-Men 2099 figure. Bought this new out of the package, and I don't know. It's just goofy. The hair's too big. It has a dumb feature for like punching. I think they used a lot of the same. It's very similar to the Rogue figure in its overall design. I'll get this big turd out of the way. This is from the Silver Surfer line. This is Toy Biz Drax. This is how I see Drax. I don't like the movie Drax. Drax should be big, dumb, and purple with a cape, and hilarious and awesome, and just massively overpowered. And that's exactly what this Drax is. Still one of my favorite Drax figures. I would love a Marvel Legends version like this. So, why don't you make me one? This is a War Machine, just a basic old Marvel Legends Toy Biz War Machine. He's getting a little bit sticky, and I don't think it's because he's got sticky on him. I think his plastic is kind of wearing down. But some older figures do that, and it's sad. So here is a Juggernaut. This is the one with the removable helmet. You can see his tiny, tiny head, and it's pretty silly. He also has the hollow arm, but instead of being spring-loaded, it was so you could put a big hammer in his hand and make it glow, because that's what you would want from your Juggernaut figure, right? Stupid. We've got Dagger from Cloak and Dagger. Hideous face, pretty basic body. I think it's the Quicksilver body, so nothing to write home about. But I had to get it because I like all Cloak and Dagger figures and stuff. We've got, I can't remember this dude's name. It's not Nimrod. He's like some sort of mechanized thing from the future, and I can't remember. Cool figure though. We've got AOA Apocalypse. Both of his hands pop off. They're way too big. His cape is kind of cool, but either way, he's not the best Apocalypse figure. There's been some others I like much better. There was a 2-pack Spat and Grovel. This is Grovel. He had a rider that was a little tiny lady. One of the last lines that came out, I can't remember what it was called. AOA Saber-Tooth. This is a fantastic figure. Probably one of the first Toy Biz figures I really was exposed to. Yeah, probably one of the first ones I was really exposed to, as opposed to like the first Gambit one. I wasn't a hardcore collector, but when I saw this one, I had a few of them, but when I saw this one, then I started really picking these things up more. We've got She-Hulk, fantastic She-Hulk, and to give you an idea of the size, they made her big, and I like that. This is Kraven, he sucks. She-Hulk doesn't suck. Great. Holocaust figure, they renamed this guy Nemesis because they're, I don't know, because they didn't want to call him Holocaust anymore, which I guess, but he'll always be Holocaust to me because that's what he was in the comics, and he's a horrifying character and a very cool figure. One that they should, I know they make a, what do they call it? Build a figure out of it, but I've never been able to get it. One of the worst Gambit figures is, ironically, the AOA Gambit. He just looks like ass. Shard is a beautiful and amazing figure, and I don't know why we don't have a Marvel Legends version of it. That just seems like stupid and wrong, because we need one. I'm trying to slightly move my camera. There we go. This is from Marvel Legends, or Marvel 2, M2 universe. This is like the Wasp, I think was her name, or Daughter of the Wasp, or something like that, or Hornet, I can't remember. Mystique here. This is a fantastic Mystique. This is from the same basic body mold that the AOA Jean Grey was, And this is a fantastic figure. For 5 POA, it is still awesome. Still amazing. That's Gambit's. Random here. 5 POA. 90s dude. Gun for a hand. Big shiny boots. I love this figure. It's just basic and stupid, but I love this character design. And I want to know if we're going to get a Marvel Legends one of these, because we need one. Looks like Silver Sable, but her leg falls off because this was a bad design. And anytime you have chrome figures like this, you're just begging for trouble. This was vac metal stuff. It doesn't last, it's hard, but she's actually in pretty good shape except for her leg that falls off. So yeah. Holiday Jean Grey, her hat has fallen off. She has like a Santa hat on. This is a terrible figure. We've got a vintage Saber-Tooth, and his action doesn't work anymore, but oh, it does still work. So he gets like claw damage in his stomach. That's nice. Anyway, that's an older one. We've got Avalanche. This is another one we desperately need a Marvel Legends of. We need it of this suit. We need this design. We also need Pyro. So where is that? Spider-Woman, pretty basic figure, basic body mold. I don't know what she's doing with her hands there. Let's get ready. DX. Okay. This is one I just picked up. There's a couple different versions of Movie Rogue. There's the original one, which is really good, and then there's like a shittier 2-pack one. This is the shittier 2-pack one. The face isn't near as good, and the plastic is lighter. And also, you can stab claws out her back. Isn't that nice? For the scene when Wolverine stabs her through the chest. Because that was our favorite scene of the whole thing, wasn't it? It wasn't. Tigress? I think it's Tigress. Marvel. Tigress. It's hard to say Marvel without saying Legends. This is Melty Face Wolverine. He has like... It's a terrible thing. I think it may have actually hardened to solid. The deal was he had like a rubber jaw, or a movable jaw, so you could move this lever and it would make it talk. But the rubber face like lost tension, and then it seems to have hardened back over. So his mouth doesn't open anymore. He is a hideous monster. That is crazy. This is Terrible Costume Idea Wolverine. I'm pretty sure that was what this one was officially called. Terrible Costume Wolverine. I think he ended up giving this costume to Draken, who like really amped up how much this costume sucked. Implate? I think it's Implate. Oh, he's got his broken hand. I love that. Anyway, he's got like an action feature in his hand. But holy crap, does that look weird when it's loose. Anyway, he's one of those Gen X figures. It's not the best. Marrow. My gosh, we need a Marrow figure. Why don't they give us a Marvel Legends Marrow? She was a great character. Definitely deserves more props. Phoenix figure. Does it still light up? Yes, it does. Anyway. From Marvel 2, this is Captain America's daughter, American Dream. I would take an American Dream Legends figure because I think that's a great design, and I love the comic too. Vintage Cyclops. His glow does not work anymore, and I hate any Cyclops suit that has the skull cap. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just thought that was stupid. I didn't like it. This is Rogue. This is from X-Men 2. I've got 2 of them. You can see the original face paint is fantastic. She actually looked really good. The second, this one has just been roughed up and faded off, but originally this thing was in great shape. So I did pick up this rougher one at a garage sale just recently, just to have an extra. But yeah, I love this figure. This is a terrible, weird, pre-posed Mr. Sinister, so he looks like he's trying to welcome you to Good Burger. I don't know, he's got like a problem. let's see here. Omega Red, fantastic figure. Even for its first time out, this thing was great. Vintage Magneto. This guy's pretty rough. Hobgoblin from the Spider-Man line, not a bad figure. I just picked up this Cable. This is an amazing Cable. It's his first look that we really got to know him. The figure is terrible. The arm is set so far out it doesn't do anything, and the other arm just does this, like it just raises out. The figure is terrible, but they could have done it so much better. But they were trying to sneak in an action feature for an arm choppy thing, which that's going to ruin you. Robot Fighters Jubilee, probably the best Jubilee figure that Toy Biz ever made, and that is terrible. Ahab, this is another character that I kind of want a Marvel Legends of for some reason. I have no familiarity with this figure at all, except for the X-Men video game. I want to say it's like an Iron Man video villain. It's not the Mandarin. I don't remember who it is. I don't know. If you know, let me know. Another Jean Grey. This one's in a little bit rougher shape. A little paint off her nose. But I wasn't going to pass her at a garage sale for a couple bucks, so snagged her. Vintage Deathlock figure. He's missing his like hoses coming out of his chest, but he looks awful, and that's great. You've got a GW Bridge figure. I don't remember anything about him from the comics. This is the new Banshee I picked up at a garage sale. This is the original Banshee. Better than the crappy other one that we saw, but he does have a terrible whistling action feature, and he has awful like arms. What are you supposed to do with these arms? They just do that. We got a vintage Storm, and thank you so much, Marvel Legends Hasbro, for making a new Storm figure that is so much better than these old ones. These were terrible. This was not a terrible Storm figure, but the hair was so big that it made it impossible to do anything with. Robot Fighters Storm. This is a Stegron. I talked about him in another video a while back. He's from the Vault figure line, and he is insane and incredible and truly an odd and amazing figure that I would take a Build-A-Figure of in a second. Speaking of Build-A-Figures, this guy's basically a Marvel Legends. All the framework is there, but we did get a Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure of Sasquatch, and it's pretty cool. We need this guy in a Marvel Legends. This is Aoa Cyclops, Kurt Russell Cyclops. I loved this character. I loved everything about that. I think this is Marvel Girl or Miss Marvel. I think it's Miss Marvel. Bad costume, and this figure for some reason has 2 left feet. Yeah, nice. Probably my favorite Bishop figure of all time until Toy Biz came out with their Marvel Legends version. And that Toy Biz Marvel Legends version is still better than the Hasbro Marvel Legends version, in my opinion. So, props to you, Toy Biz. You made something better. Strong guy who I can't wait to see as a Build-A-Figure. He's coming. We just don't have him yet. We'll get him soon. And that leaves us with our last one, which is the best Spider-Man figure for years. Ultra Poseable Spider-Man. What they got this guy to do and how to do it was an amazing feat. I think I've talked about this figure before. His eyes are too small. But either way, he's pretty cool. I recommend him. And he's my last figure in this video. So that is it. That's all I got. I will catch you guys later. Bye.